Hello and welcome to Reflections, episode 21, Big Bend, part 3, taking place December 21st of 2020. Anything to add to start us off with?
No.
Okay. Well then, I guess we'll watch it and then we'll talk about it.
That's what we've been doing for 21
That's what we've been
episodes now.
That's what we've been doing. I've noticed a trend that we...
Let's get started.
This one I was able to put thought into, unlike the previous other two videos where I was just like, well, I guess we hate each other.
What do you mean you were able to put thought into it? Like,
It feels more certain
oh, okay, yeah.
for obvious reasons.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the way it's being shot feels more intentional.
Yeah.
Whereas I can tell when I'm anxious and it's like, what were you thinking shooting this? Like, getting up early is one thing, and then I'm like, oh, thank goodness you set up a tripod and recorded some things, because some mornings I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, were you in a bad mood or did you sleep late?
And we were up so early because of the construction on the road into the Chisos Mountains. At that point was like only open at certain times of day. So I think the road opened at like 8 a.m. or something, and then it wouldn't open again until 11. And so we needed to like be ready to go try to get parking at the Lost Mines Trail. Yeah.
That's even more confusing. That makes this entire narrative even more confusing.
Yeah.
Like, what? Here's the schedule. Here's a construction schedule that we're trying to abide by. That loud noise was the bear box opening. So you got out of the tent and went and got something, I guess.
Yeah, my snacks immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know, or like deodorant or something.
Whatever's smelly
Yeah.
goes in there. Oh, I did get some tent stuff. We are on the Lost Mine Trail. We heard it was one of the best views in the Chisos. Figured we'd find out ourselves when we're about to cross this corner. I have a feeling it might be cool. Is it cool though?
It's kind of blocked. Let's keep going.
I mean, it's about to be cool. That is cool. Wow. Wow. The problem with the Lost Mine Trail is there's limited parking, and specifically to our situation, there's a lot of construction on the road.
We cannot leave until 11
Yeah, we're trapped here until 11, so we better enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which
We are.
I don't think this will be hard.
No.
Gee whiz.
And it's 4 miles and we're only a mile in, so we've got plenty more to see. Like 4 miles there and back, right? Not the other one where it was truly 8 miles.
I don't know.
There's no telling. I feel like we got onto another trail yesterday.
There was like 800 trails that
Yeah.
you didn't know when one started and when one ended.
This is cool. This
This
like
is really cool.
not something you expect to see in Texas.
Yeah, this is in Texas. Reminder to
Yeah.
us, this is in Texas.
Never see like anything like this in Texas. This is, in my opinion, this is more beautiful than the view yesterday.
Mm-hmm. It's important to me whenever we like experience this for the first time, where it's like our senses become continuously more and more overwhelmed with scenic viewpoints in life. But like I'm noticing that we can see Angels Landing in Zion, or just like a cool view in Big Bend, or just like little things that are they don't get any smaller for us, but I think it makes the small things bigger to us as well, if that makes sense. Like, I know that I don't have this in my backyard, but I still am appreciating that my backyard is not this either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not like my backyard or where I live sucks because I saw this. It's that I appreciate that there is something else.
Right. And they're all like different. You know, some of them will like remind you of each other and stuff, but they're all different. It is interesting to me too. Like, I don't remember the views on this trail until we like rewatched the video, and I was like, oh yeah, golly, like that was, yeah, some of the best views like we saw in Big Bend at that time, and I didn't even remember it. I just remembered being afraid of coming across a mountain lion, and yeah, like the stress of getting back to the trail in time, but I like really did not remember this trail very much, so it's like cool to see it again and to see those viewpoints, because I'm like, oh yeah, like it triggers a memory. Then it's not like I look at it and I'm like, still don't remember. It's like, you know.
Yeah that does make sense. Oh man, oh my god. Holy moly. This has to be close to the end. This guy back there said we're almost there. He was just being positive. Yeah, I feel like this is it. The thing about asking somebody on a trail if you're almost done, they're always going to say yes.
Yeah, I feel like we wouldn't have asked.
I know.
It's probably they probably just saw us struggling and we're like, you're almost there, you know, like.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah, like you say when you see someone. I'm like, there's no way we would have asked
Yeah.
if we were almost there.
Well, it just is mostly encouraging. Like, almost there. It's
Even
like,
if you're 2 miles away, you're almost there. Yeah.
almost as in
You're
what?
going to get there or you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're always almost there.
Yeah. All right. We've made it as far as we can on the Lost Mine Trail.
As far as we can without climbing equipment.
Or dying. We could go farther, but...
I mean, there's always further to go.
Yeah, we were talking about you saying that.
Yeah.
Saying, like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh my gosh, she was willing to, like, clasp onto a rock and climb down if we had rope. You're like, well, we would still be going.
Well, I mean, and if I knew how to do that.
Well,
I
yeah.
wouldn't just do it if I had rope, but...
It's funny that you would say that.
Right. Well, I remember, like, the rocky area of, like, when you get to, like, the kind of peak of it was, like, fun. Like, I always like to kind of climb around on rocks and see, like, how far you can go and stuff without needing climbing equipment, you know. And so that's probably where my brain was at. Like, oh, well, we could go a little further if I just, you know.
That's fun attitude.
Had the proper tools, yeah.
It's a good attitude to have.
I guess, yeah.
When we were first starting out this.
Yeah, especially compared to, like, my attitude the first 2 days of this trip.
We just didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know this existed, is the thing. It's weird to go in pretty blind, I mean, but you just haven't experienced this before. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, I don't know what's good and what's bad. All I'm hearing is that there's bears and mountain lions around all the time, but I don't know.
Until you're like experiencing it, then you're like, oh, this is beautiful, and there wasn't any bears or mountain lions. And
there's
even if there were, you know.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
Yeah. Or dying. We could go farther, but we would die. Oh, there he is. All right, hurry up. We barely made it to leave.
Or we would have been trapped there until the next round of when they were letting people through, which I think was like every 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I remember like literally walking up to the van and we started like running because it was like starting the little car line.
The van?
Oh yeah, we didn't have the van. The Explorer. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, be careful. You're living in 2 different timelines right now.
You're right. That's wild.
The Explorer, the car that we were driving. Anyways, barely made it. Mm-hmm. And that was all I had of it, but yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah.
So we are done with the Chisos Mountains. And now we're going to head to the Rio Grande Village, right?
Yes.
And we'll have to do Santa Elena Canyon later because this place is huge and there's not enough time for anything. Yeah, we're going to go set up camp elsewhere. No bears at Chisos, which I'm lukewarm about. Because it's good that we didn't see any predators, but also we didn't get any photos of them. So that's okay. We made it. That was a scene in the original Big Bend video that I made.
In 2023, yeah.
2023.
Mm-hmm. Where it was like showing
Yeah.
Well, that video is showing like the parallels between our trip here in 2020 and then our trip that we took there in 2023.
So I think I just get like a certain feeling when watching especially Big Bend, because I've had a lot of thoughts around it, and so I'm wanting to encompass all of our Big Bend experience together all at once. But I know that the way I'm treating this is building it like each brick at a time, but I can't go from the top down. And so whenever I'm like, oh, we're leaving the Chisos, and when I was watching this, and I do this automatically. Like, I think about how we spent more time there. We've done things after this that kind of relate and stuff. And I just want to get there, but I can't. So that's like a weird thing about watching these.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's like I kind of know
it gets
what
better.
happens. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know how naive we are, but I also have to know that I'm working with what I had at the time. So I can't use footage outside of this technically in order. And that's frustrates me sometimes. 'Cause I'm like, oh, it could be, but it's got to be told in order. Yeah. But I was like this while I was watching, and you asked whispered if I was okay, and I had to explain it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to say that instead of just show it. So we made it. Whatever.
That was the first video montage you made of us putting up that tent.
I was literally thinking that because Dinosaur Valley was dark when we set it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then it was too hot to be
anywhere near it,
in it or around it, and then we had to leave.
Yep.
And so then we go see the Rio Grande. Do you want to say anything before or wait until after?
I guess after.
Okay. Feel like your eyes have been opened.
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay, I will admit that when we got to this part of Big Bend and like going down to the Rio Grande, and we were like walking towards the river, and then it started to hit me like, oh, like Mexico is over there. Like I'd never experienced that before. And then, you know, I've watched too many movies and stuff. And so I started to like feel a little anxious and like paranoid. Like I was like, wait, we're like at the border like of Mexico. Like, is it dangerous, you know? Like, it doesn't seem like it would be because we are in the national park and you're just kind of free to, like, go on down and roam by the river. But then, like, all of those things that I'd seen, like, activated my anxiety. And then we get down to the river and it's like peaceful. There's like a little family sitting by the river and it was like, okay, yeah, like there is nothing to worry about. But that was like really put into perspective, like experience versus like what you see in like media and like news and stuff like that. And yeah, that was like my first experience with that because I'd never been at a border of Mexico before. And it's not scary in Big Bend at all. Mm-mm. So, I mean, it's not, I guess there's not really like movies that make you think that Big Bend would be scary, but I don't know. It was just something I learned.
Well, we have images of what a place is put into our head before we go to the place.
Yep.
And then we hold on to that because that's all we have to when we think of this place.
Right.
What's it associated with? And so it's associated with things that people tell you about it. And that's, I think, the importance of when you see different things, you see things differently. You're doing a disservice to your own ability to experience things by not experiencing them yourself.
Right.
Taking one's word for it.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, we could go somewhere else and have a completely different experience as well, but that was my experience here, that it was just like nothing.
Yep.
Just a beautiful, beautiful place.
Well, I think it was similar to like the same anxiety we felt with a bear too. It's like we're in a desert. We don't know what's going to happen. And so the scaries enter without any cause for anything. And I think that's what's very important about this visit to Big Bend, which I cannot explain on camera.
Right.
But it was really helpful for us to travel and see something different.
Yep.
Yeah. And yes, this is a little slower paced because I was like, well, we are going to, we like that sign just said, it was COVID closing down trails and not letting us go to the border, like go across the border. We were like isolated from doing most of the things you can do. So
right. Well, because I hadn't, that was like the consequences of me not planning more. I didn't look up like that trails were closed and things like that. So yeah, like we had a map like once we got there, and then so we kind of picked out some things like, oh, we should go to the hot springs, we should visit Boquias. Like there's a lot of cool things to do in the Rio Grande area, even though you're like leaving the mountains. But then a lot of those things were closed. Well, I guess just those two really, but they were like two big things that we planned to do, and so it was kind of like, okay, like because
that's where we are now.
Yes.
So if you're in the mood, I usually this is reserved for just letting the music kind of take you through your thoughts. And so like when you have nothing to do, I was thinking about this, is just disregard, edit this out. But as you have nothing to do, and then like I think we have this habit of looking up and just seeing what's around. Like, we start with what's around us when it's like, oh, my plans just kind of fell through, and I'm out in the middle of this desert. And I noticed that you looked up, and then I got into the spot that you were at and looked up. Like, does anyone actually look up at the sun and the trees and feel calm, or is that just something that people say to do? You know what I mean?
I think I certainly do, yeah. Well, because I remember seeing the sign and being like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. But then in the area that we were in, I was like, oh, like, all the trees here are so beautiful, and it, like, it was, like, reminding me a bit of Zion even, because, like, we had been there, like, a month before, and everything was all beautiful, like, colorful and beautiful, like, changing in the fall. And then I was like, oh, that's happening here too. Like, it was just really, like, a beautiful place in so many different ways than some of the other places we'd seen, but then also in some similar ways. Like, you kind of find these, like, connections between the places, even with, like, how different they are, you know? And I think too, like, visiting Big Bend and then, like, the state parks that we'd been visiting too really opened my eyes to, like, how beautiful, like, Texas can be, you know? Because, like, when I'm from Texas, and so sometimes you, like, take it for granted where you're from, like, how beautiful it is. And yeah, places like this, I'm like, oh my gosh,
You're right.
It's a lovely place.
The golden trees from Zion, I remember seeing. I saw them again.
They're not just mesquite trees in West Texas where like we're from.
Trying to get our sunset photo after we played a little bit too much Exploding Kittens. Lost track of time.
Don't touch it.
I wouldn't dare.
There's no such thing as too much Exploding Kittens. I mean, look at that. We still got it. What more do you want? We got National Park. We're getting the sunset over Mexico.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Right there.
What?
This is free. Isn't that crazy?
Well, technically we paid $30 to get into the park.
Well, we didn't have to pay for this. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it happens every day. And it's different every day.
Never in our lifetimes will there be a sunset exactly like this one. And here we are. I think that we just completely ran out of options for things to do, but then we enjoyed our time anyways.
Right.
And that was the first time on camera where I was like, this is why you're doing this.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I remember that sunset. Like that. I remember that sunset, like, up to that point. Big Bend had, like, not quite been a bust, you know, for me, but, like, I certainly was kind of like, okay, like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Like, it's a beautiful place, but I just hadn't felt the same, like, calm kind of, like, come over me as some like other places that I was, like, looking for. And then I was like, oh no, like, if I can't get there, this isn't the answer either, you know? And so it's like, oh, you're gonna have to keep looking for the answer. But then I remember watching the sunset and just being like, yeah, like, what else do we need to be doing besides watching the sunset here right now? And then I, like, had a better understanding of, like, what in the heck you were doing, because for the most part on, like, our adventures up to this point, like, you'd been pretty much like getting up to get the sunrise and then staying up to get the sunset. Like that was kind of the like pattern. And sometimes I wouldn't join you for the sunrises and stuff, but I think this was like where it really hit me, where I was like, oh, like he wants to be out here. It's not necessarily like for like to become I was like, what do you want to become, like a influencer or something? Like, what are we doing here with you, like wanting to make videos for this? Or are we gonna like work for Texas Parks and Wildlife or like the National Park Service? Like, what's the plan here? I didn't know, and then I was like, oh, I think the plan is to watch sunsets.
Yeah, it's in the name.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And isn't that enough?
That's why that's why this video is so important.
Yeah.
To me. To me personally, subjectively.
Yep.
Emotionally.
Yep.
Which is, it was establishing. It was like, because I can't say just enjoy things. Nobody can say just feel something. You can't just demand that somebody feel something that you're feeling.
Yes, or get something that you get.
I think probably the key in having someone enjoy the same things as you, or if they don't know, you introduce them to the thing that you enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's hard when it's something that happens every day. Why don't you just enjoy what do you mean? Enjoy every day. There are two things that you can see every day that are beautiful.
Yeah.
You just gotta kind of be patient and sit around for them, though.
Yeah.
Just like with anything that happens.
Yeah.
You just gotta, it feels like you're just sitting around. Anyways, I'm gonna play through this part too as we talk, but
okay.
I don't know if this was unique to this year. It was the first time we were there, but the citizens of Boquias, Mexico, they normally
have get like
tourism,
right, and from being able to cross over.
Couldn't do that.
Like, or people visiting Big Bend would cross over there and then shop at, the little like shops and stuff around in the town. But that wasn't happening during COVID, and so I don't know if they did it before or not, but they had like little stations kind of along where you could put like money in a coffee tin, and then take what you wanted. But yeah, it was cool.
It was cool.
I thought it was cool. I know it's like against the rules or whatever, but I didn't know it was against the rules when we were there, and it didn't really affect me any. Yeah.
So that's why we showed it.
Yeah.
So, nothing crazy about it. We went back and got.
Yeah, when we went back in 2023, we went to.
Yeah.
We went to the town.
See, we can't talk about that yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I struggle with.
You gotta stick around 3 more years. Yeah.
Anyways, this is the real reason why it's important. Get ready. This is the real reason why this video is important. So I am trying to get a good night time lapse. Tonight is apparently what's called the Great Conjunction, where Saturn and Jupiter go in front of each other, which sounds pretty cool, but it's a very cloudy night. There, I'll show you. I don't know if you can tell. Oh yeah, you can see. Very cloudy. Hard to see anything. It's crazy. The moon's super bright too. There's a lot of people over here. I guess they're stargazing. I'm not really sure what they're doing. They're starting to head back. I'm gonna head back too. Don't want to be out here alone. Water. Oh my gosh. So now I go out. I can go out at night and not be scared. But this is important because I was like, I don't want to be out here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
out here
Yeah.
by myself, like
In the night?
that's when the mountain lions, yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So I don't really have that. Like, I mean, there's like a practical fear of like, don't mountain climb at night. But this is like, it's really close to a lot of people, but still wandering out too far away from camp, like,
Yeah.
freaked me out. And this was after I had said that this happens here. I'm breaking this down.
Okay.
So this is what happens next after I say I don't want to be alone.
Okay.
Water. Oh my gosh. Oh crap. Dude. That was an owl.
Yeah, well, you weren't alone.
I think that's part of what because I said 2 things happen every day. Sunrise, sunset. Things happen after that too. Like life is still at work at night. Plenty at work. And I think this is kind of what I was realizing too, because the Great Conjunction thing I mentioned, there were people walking around looking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, people were, because Big Bend is a great place to see, like, the stars and the planets, because there's, like, no light pollution.
Yeah.
And so there was, like, people there for that, and then we just, like, stumbled upon it, and it was really, well, I think I was asleep, but...
It's like every 20 years, but also the last time it was this close was in the 1600s.
Right.
Jupiter and Saturn. It's cool. Is it only cool if you're interested in space? Because I'm not. Like, I wasn't interested in space. I thought it was just cool because it was happening while we were there. And I think this is what I'm trying to get at once. I'll let these play out.
Okay.
And there they go. That was it. And the moon had some kind of weird rainbow stuff. There was like a circle around it at first. And then once the clouds got in front of it, it made this rainbow effect.
Stunning. Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
But I think what's important is being there to witness life happening. Because now I'm just like, well, this happened and I captured it and it happened to happen on this day. And so then I start to like see that things are, what's that called? Aligned. But it's not me that's aligning this, because we obviously have no real plan behind this trip. And, you know, plans change. We weren't allowed to go on trails. Like, what is the thing that doesn't...
Yeah, we're not masterminds.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. So it's all coincidental.
Yeah.
And you could dismiss it as whatever, right?
Chaos, chance, yeah.
You read into things as much as you... Yeah.
Yeah.
So... I'm wondering why we like to collect all these coincidences and then say that is something very meaningful, and I can't really argue my way out of it logically. Like, because you can explain the rainbow and the moon is the way the atmosphere reacts,
science.
the way the color refracts, and then the harvest moon is because of the crystals. Yeah. But everything happening all at the same time with presence, though, is the key difference, I think, when you're actually understanding what's happening and how rare things are, while at the same time seeing it happen, I think is the wonderful mixture. Because the thing that's most consistent are the two things that happen every day. You know, we always want to be reliant and comfortable on things to consistently happen in our lives. But there's always going to be a sign up telling you can't go there anymore when you wanted to.
Well, I think, like, people prefer usually something that you can depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we feel safer when there is something that you can depend on. But, like, yeah, there is this, like, set thing that you can depend on every day happening, no matter what else happens in the day.
Yep.
And that's so easy to forget, you know, especially, yeah, like in 2020, like, nothing made sense. There was no really, like, pattern or, like, you know what I mean? Like, structure had kind of, like, gone out the window and stuff, and, like, but then there was still that, like, consistency. And we saw that in Big Bend. Yeah.
And I'm working through this thought as we're talking about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But that's what I think I'm getting at, realizing, because I was like, well, nobody can tell me not to enjoy this sunset. And I was like, oh, I remember, or forgot, I guess, at one point that I liked to watch the sunrise and sunset. You know, it was...
Yeah.
Because I remember driving home from work before we started doing things. I was like, look at that. Look at this is...
Yeah, you would, like, pull over
This is art. This is it.
Yeah.
Look
And,
at
like,
that.
Take videos and stuff, yeah.
So it's important to see it within a video. You know, like, I don't have videos of me appreciating things before this. I just know that this is proof of me. I'm surprised, because then I remember, I was like, I appreciated, like, the consistency in my life for sunrises and sunsets for a long time. And I think getting away from that is what causes us to become upset at inconsistencies. Because you're always going to have something just be off.
There's
slightly.
always something annoying going on, or scary, you know. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything working? As it should.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is like me speaking out and saying, I wish I was, or I say I don't want to be alone, and then something appears. It's not like how it works.
Yeah.
It's cool whenever me as a human gets to experience little coincidences, but I think finding things and how they relate is the real trick. Like, how is this relevant to me? How does this relate to me?
Yeah. Well, I think it's always happening all the time. Those little coincidences, but you're not always paying attention that your life is making sense.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think that's what it's fun to revisit this, fun to re-see it. Because... And then the conjunction, you know, what does a conjunction mean? I don't know. I looked up the definition of a conjunction. It's a grammar, but
Right.
also like space things happening. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why they call it the Great Conjunction.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all ambiguous. This is all ambiguity, all ambivalent. It's all like a lot of feelings at once that I'm working on portraying, but yeah. Big Bend is fun again. Because we actually got to like do a trail.
Well, and like
And-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
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 I think before we were just like, okay, we have to get there. We just wrecked the car, and now we're getting there, and we have to get to our campsite. And then the next day was like, oh my gosh, we just need to get on a trail, I guess. Like, what are we even doing? And we just kind of wandered around all day aimlessly, but we weren't stopping to like appreciate, you know. And then we like start doing that on the Lost Mines Trail, where we're like stopping and looking at the viewpoint, and then it just escalates, because then it's like, no, you're not gonna get to go in the hot springs. You're not gonna get to do this. You're just go watch the sunset at the river.
Yeah. But we also had to hurry up at the Lost Mines Trail.
That's true. Yeah, we couldn't stop and really appreciate it, because it's like we're on a timetable. We gotta. That's true. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I think that sunset's like the first time we were like, stopping for this entire trip.
Yeah, that it's also really funny because like in my memory of Big Bend the first time, I mostly remember the Rio Grande Village experiences. Like rewatching the Chisos part, I was like, this is like I barely remember this, but I think it's because I wasn't like
we weren't there
I wasn't really there
that long.
Yeah, but well, I know we weren't there that long, but also I wasn't really like taking it in. But like the Rio Grande like area that like something shifted, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those parts like way more vividly, and I think it's because I like was able to shift my brain and stop being so anxious about, you know, what was going on with like life and what's next and whatever, and like actually be there and appreciate it. Yeah,
because that's when the fear of things just started.
It's just getting in your way. Yeah.
Well, they started to fall away. They were in our way.
We were finally far enough away.
Yeah.
In the desert to escape ourselves. Just kidding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying this is that you get to notice coincidences in your life for the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm done talking if you are.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. We should end this.
Let's wrap this up.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching. We'll have another episode out after this one, and then we'll talk about that one as well. And so, thanks for everything. Go there, do that.